This is the Szechuan beef stir fry that I was raving about, and I had to share the recipe with you, so I'm going to give you a quick tutorial on how to make this dish fabulous. It is seriously one of my new favorite stir fries, and I know you guys are going to just love it. So the first thing I'm doing is pre-cutting all my vegetables, which I like to cut julienne for this recipe. And with the celery, you don't have to peel it, but it makes it less stringy, which makes the dish more delicious. So I do that. And so to julienne the celery, we're gonna break it down and then cut it into sticks, like so. So now we are gonna do the same thing with the carrot. And you can see that all of these shavings and ends I am saving for my bone broth that I always make at the beginning of the week using all my scraps. And yes, chopping these like this does take up some more time, but it's worth it in the end. It's such a delicious stir fry. You can see I cut those into matchsticks. Okay, 2 more veggies. Now I'm going to show you how to do it with a green onion. Same thing, different vegetable. You know, this is probably already thin enough. Green onions really wilt down when you cook them, so they don't have to be super small. So little matchsticks. We've got our green onion, and then last we're gonna do like a 1.5 inch chunk of a ginger. So instead of peeling mine, I'm gonna cut around it, which this looks wasteful, but it's going in my scrap pile for my bone broth, and I love the ginger scraps inside my bone broth scrap mixture. It gives it such good flavor, and it's great for your immune system. So I'm gonna peel off a little bit more of this. Oh, Winnie.
Look what else.
Hold on, duty calls. Okay, so I've sliced that ginger into really thin slices carefully. And then again, we're gonna cut them into little sticks, like so. So now that all my veggies are chopped, I am going to slice my beef really thin. This is a top sirloin. You could use a flank steak, but I do prefer this. It doesn't get as chewy. And you can stick it in the freezer right before you slice it if you don't have a super sharp knife. But I've got a beautiful knife here, actually from my friend Ronnie at Primal Gourmet, and it's amazing. And I'm just gonna slice my steak into thin strips like so. So slice it like that, and then take it again. Again, if you don't have a super sharp knife, sticking it in the freezer before will make it easier to slice through. Get that nasty end off. Okay, I'm going to continue this process. So now that we have sliced beef here, we are going to season it up. I've got a teaspoon of kosher salt, black pepper, a little bit of garlic powder, and then we're going to do a tablespoon of tapioca starch. And I normally do arrowroot starch in stir fries, but I've noticed that tapioca does help meat get a little bit more crisp. So that is why I'm doing it here in this recipe, because I really like that crispy beef with those julienne vegetables. So we're just going to toss that up with all the tapioca and seasonings, and then I'll fry it up. So I'm heating my wok over high heat. I've got my beef ready to go, my veggies ready to go, my sauce stuff ready to go, which we'll get to in a second. And here's my oils. I've got 2 tablespoons of avocado oil, and then a teaspoon of toasted sesame oil going right in that wok. We're gonna get it really hot, and then we're gonna fry up this beef, not beets. Can't talk today. Okay, so as you can see, I'm frying it in small batches because I want to make sure that each piece gets nice and crispy, so don't throw them all in there at once. And once they get this golden brown crispy color, you're going to flip each of them over. It's going to take about 1 to 2 minutes aside for each one. Some of these aren't quite ready to flip yet. This one is. So as they're all fried, we're just going to transfer them to a plate on the side and just keep working in batches until all of our beef has these lovely brown bit crusts form all over them. Now that all of our beef is brown, we're going to just add in a little bit more avocado oil to that skillet. We can saute up all these beautiful veggies until they're nice and tender, which is going to take about 3 to 4 minutes. And I also turned down the heat to medium-high for the veggies. So beautiful. Okay, so my veggies are tender, but they aren't just like soggy. So what I'm gonna do next is get my sauce started. I've got a 1/4 cup of coconut aminos, a tablespoon of rice vinegar, and a teaspoon of fish sauce. And then we're gonna add back in that meat, and we're just gonna let it cook for like 1 to 2 more minutes to thicken up that sauce. Get it all nice and tossed together. Oh God, that looks fabulous. Does it or does it not? Those little steps of slicing everything so thin and getting the beef nice and crispy in batches are all it takes to make a fabulous dish. So the last thing that I'm gonna do, these are ground up Sichuan peppercorns. We love them. You could also use spice powder if you can't find it. I buy mine on Amazon because they're kind of hard to find. I'm just gonna sprinkle it all with that, about a teaspoon. My husband loves a lot, so I'm gonna go a little bit heavy on the Sichuan peppercorns. And I'm just gonna give that one more toss, and this is ready to be served. Okay. Yes, you can. Okay. How good does that look? I mean, seriously. I am so excited to dig in, and I know Clayton's gonna love this dish because he is all about the tingle of Sichuan peppercorns. But again, like I said, use a 5-spice powder if you can't find it, or go on Amazon right now and get some and just grind it on up.